The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. Just want to get a quick audio-video check before we get started. Just use the GoToMeeting chat function and type in that you can hear and see us okay, loud and clear. All right,
Okay.
we have some confirmations. So again, welcome to the SOS ServerSafe Partner Webinar. My name is Derek Wood, the Partner Product Manager, and joined by Shaylin Herrick, our Director of Business Marketing.
Good morning.
And today we're going to go through how you can make some money in our program. We're going to take a start at just looking at the market, where SOS came from, what ServerSafe is, what does that mean to you, your customers, your business. What do you get when you come to our program, and how does this program help you make that money? And we're going to go through a product tour at the end as we go through kind of a market evaluation. And we'll be asking questions periodically, so please do type in if we do have some questions. It helps us just talk more specifically to you and your business. Got a good group today, so we're looking forward to it. As we get started, I'd like to first request that you all kind of give a real simple description of what you're looking to get out of this. Are you moving into managed services? Is this a need of a new backup solution? Are you replacing a backup solution? And any other information they think would be relevant. So getting started with the industries, if you look at the graph on the right here, we have a kind of a business 101 innovation life cycle. So what happens with new markets as they are created, as they boom, and then as they come back down. So looking at this adoption cycle, we can kind of date where we are. We have cloud backup today marked in that right in the middle of the early majority phase. The reason for that is the small business market. So SMBs all over the U.S. are now starting to move heavily towards online backup services and cloud services in general. It's estimated that about the expenditure is going to go from 1% to about 3% over the next couple of years. And while those are small numbers, the revenue behind them is anything but small. So we're talking about a multi-billion-dollar industry. If we look at where SOS started, we started far to the left. So in 2001, we were part of the innovators. So we were the first online backup products to market. We had rather humble beginnings out of a dorm room in Melbourne, Australia. So we are an Australian-based firm, but now headquartered here in Los Angeles. Through 2001, 2005, we did mostly local business in and around Australia. And 2005 was when we finally launched to the U.S. market and really the global operation that we have today, operating in maybe Shaylin has the numbers, but I would say at least 20 different countries. With partners and customers present.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that, and we're growing constantly. And for example, we're opening a South African data center on approximately July 1st, probably July 1st or 2nd. We're really excited about that, to be able to serve MSPs in that area as well. So why are we growing in so many countries? And it's really because there are a lot of trends, and particularly internet bandwidth, that are allowing us to grow online backup and allowing more people to adopt that technology. So expansion of internet bandwidth, a fantastic example is Australia. Australia, its government is now employing something called the NBN, the National Broadband Network, and it is allowing people of that island nation, very large island, but it is indeed an island, to have much faster internet bandwidth and much less expensive internet bandwidth access. And that allows them to put data up into the cloud, right? Here in North America, we have relatively inexpensive internet bandwidth access, which is very nice, but not every country does. But that is definitely improving. We have a decrease in hosted storage costs. So for every little bit of information that we put up in the cloud, it costs us less than it used to, and that cost is passed on to everyone. That's why you see so many free trial offers out there for various cloud services. It's because it's somewhat inexpensive and less expensive than it used to be to put data up in the cloud. We also have an improvement in the technical sophistication of the population. More people know what the cloud is. It's kind of a ubiquitous term. But we all know what it is, right? We all know that it means there are some servers somewhere that data is being stored on. And we've had a significant increase in size and value of digital data. Companies and consumers alike are creating loads and loads of digital data. They're creating it with their phones. They're creating it with flip video cameras. They're creating it with their laptops. They're making videos. YouTube, for example, probably has more digital data than just about anyone in the entire world, and we're all contributing to it.
And looking at some of the responses we have from what you're looking for in backup, you're right in line where you should be. So looking at supplying managed backup, says Jake. We have a telecom agent looking to offer customers more services, so using it as a value add. It's a terrific strategy to employ. We have a couple people with some retail shops that also want to kind of value add this service. And it really is a terrific move to do. Online backup is something that everyone needs. When it comes to the managed service market, it is usually one of the first steps in what managed services can you provide, because backup is the lowest common denominator. It's what everyone needs. It's not industry specific. Everyone needs backup. Of course, you have industry-specific needs, so some of your industries have legal obligations for backup, but almost everyone should, just by nature of wanting to stay in business, get into it.
And Gordon has a great comment. He says he's offering solutions that his competitors don't. That's awesome. I love to hear that.
So before we move on to the next slide, the IDC is who we base a lot of our marketing campaigns and what we're developing towards, as it's their job to get great information. So they're estimating at a low end this huge growth in the market, and that doesn't include the managed service costs. And of the businesses they reviewed, it's that only about 16% actually had some sort of online backup today. And that's pretty consistent with what we've experienced. A lot of small businesses have a lot less flexibility to move into new technology as it comes out. So they have to wait for those old tape systems to die out or those contracts to end before they can really move into it. So this is a great time where we're seeing a lot of that. While they were waiting for those things, a lot of the techs were still pushing, let's just start getting familiar with it. So you have a lot of businesses that maybe had a backup account for a user in place or for a simple machine. So not only are we looking at a huge increase in adoption just in general from a business-to-business standpoint, but the level of adoption is growing dramatically. Cloud backup used to be something that you would consider a nice-to-have, an option, a complement to what was considered the true disaster recovery solution, which was some type of tape backup system on site. Well, today, online backup almost becomes the first step because it just makes sense. People are more familiar with it. Going in the cloud is not something that's really that scary for most people anymore. We've been doing medical services and providing their backups, government agencies, education, accounting, financial services, legal, all the industries that have legal obligations and stringent obligations to really perform their backups and have good due diligence against those. And if you can break into those markets, well, that certainly means that the rest of the market's opening up. So as these things become required, SOS hasn't really needed to change any of our policies. We've always had security as a front runner of how we develop our services. So as HIPAA requirements change, didn't change anything on our end. We've always been ahead of the curve when it comes to that.
Gordon says most clients recognize they can't afford data loss, especially here in Canada. The SBO solution is a no-brainer. Thanks for that, Gordon. And just as an interesting side note, last night I did a webinar for Australian and New Zealand partners, and we did have someone on the line who had a client who lost all of their data in the Christchurch earthquake last year. And I mean, that made it really hit home. We don't often hear about losing data in massive disasters like that, but it was completely a business killer for his client that had lost their data. So they were looking at a kind of solution to make sure that never happens again.
Definitely. And then I also had a bunch of hardware stolen from me, and that would have been really embarrassing had I not had it backed up.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was just a couple of weeks ago, but the only blip was replacing the hardware. that's what we're looking at. And there have been some reviews that come out of TechCrunch and the Harvard Business Review that showed that not only is backup really important, and backing up at a user level is becoming more and more important because of mobile workers and mobile workforces, but that most of the businesses that have gone out in the U.S. in the last few years actually hasn't been because of a perceived weak economy. Most of it's been because of a lack of proper disaster recovery plans or proper backup strategies, whatever terms you want to use. What the really nice marketing term is no longer use risk management or disaster recovery. It's business continuity that really includes that. And business continuity better describes the overall managed service market, because you're no longer just a risk manager. You're not just reacting to issues. You're preventing them. And prevention is a 101 step to any product management. Prevention is going to be a lot cheaper and a lot better for everyone. So business continuity makes a lot more sense, and that's really what people are looking for today. And that's what we're trying to offer to you, and what we have been doing a pretty good job of offering. So no longer do you just have SOS for your online backup and then go to some other tape system or backup exec to get your image backups. We now provide that technology to you as well. Exchange granular recovery comes by default with every server license we sell you. It's not an add-on feature. It's not an add-on setting that you have to enable once you purchase the feature. It's just by default, this is how it works. So we give you an end-to-end solution. We have mobile applications available to back up and access data from your iOS applications, your Droid, any web browser, pretty much access and share information. And then we give you the ability to protect your workstations at the file and folder level. Users are the biggest point of error at any point. The ability for users to maintain their own backups is really important, and really it saves you time if they're unable to recover their own information. And workers today are a lot more savvy than they used to be. They're coming up with the generation where they were the first computer users, and most people now in their early, mid to late 20s are going to be very familiar with all sorts of computing systems, and you don't have to deal with people who just are struggling to use the printer.
Patrick has a great question. When will you support imaging in the workstation software? As I understand it, it's kind of unusual to do entire images of workstations, but that is coming very soon.
Yeah, we actually do support it. We're just not delivering it. So if you do need, and that goes for any of you, if you do need a couple of workstations, we do know some of the SMBs use normal workstation operating systems as pseudo servers. So that's something you can certainly talk with your partner or rep about, or your supported system.
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry?
Gordon has a great comment. He says that recovery is priceless. It's about quick recovery options. Agreed. And the ability to pull out your phone if you're on the road and search for a specific file in your backup set and then send an email to somebody where they can download it is about as fast as it gets. No longer do you have to worry about access to your backups being geographic. You don't have to, let me get back to the office, or as soon as I get home, I'll send this to you. Pull out your mobile device, search through your backup set, send them an email. Real easy.
So now that we've gone over what the industry is requiring, what SMBs want, let's talk about what's in the SOS 363 Partner Program. We like to say that it's a business in a box, and I know that sounds really cheesy, and I could probably come up with better marketing speak, but that's really simple, and that is what it is. We offer you a website template which allows you to sell online backup on the internet. So how many of you have a web presence or have a website already? If you don't, this program does give you one, and it can be customized. There are WYSIWYG editors within the website. You can change all of your content and your metadata yourself after it's been delivered to you. There is no hardware purchase required with this program, which is really, really nice. We have weekly live trainings. We offer sales and marketing materials that are customizable and can be rebranded. We offer a rebranded client, which has your logo on it, and rebrandable sales marketing materials. And we'll go more into the website template later on in this demo, and you'll see how you can really run your business from it. You can do support ticketing, you can do customer list management, you can send emails to your customer list through this program. It's really fantastic, and it is the basic program is not an additional charge. So here's a nice, almost bullet-pointed graph of what the SOS 360-degree partner program is. You can see that we do offer a number of things that our competitors don't. One of the newest things that we've been offering that we're really excited about is our post-sale partner support. We do have a program called the Partner Concierge Program, and this is a special support line just for you guys, just for our partners. And we also have a business development manager who will help you post-sale in creating your online backup business and help you get to market, help you do sales pitches, and just help you get selling, because we're more successful if you sell.
And actually, Gordon just commented on that, saying the most valuable aspect of my partner program is Mike Z, who's that position exactly. He's helped change my business 600%. Big plus to be partners.
That's awesome. We're really glad to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we really focus on the partner program, and you see that in these types of offerings. You know, the web integration package we put together because we saw some of the new businesses coming out didn't have the time or resources to develop against our APIs. So we package the APIs up in a way where you can just plug in a merchant account and start charging people for backup. And over the years, we've added, again, a web presence to that package, mass email, coupon codes, all sorts of items that would typically take, months to build yourself, and tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, there's a lot of value there, and our business development manager can help you eke that value out. Another very important part about this slide is all of our data center locations. We do have data centers located in the UK, US, Canada, specifically Toronto, for those of you that are online in Canada, Australia, India, and Ukraine, and soon to be South Africa. So if you need to be backed up to a specific data center, you can request that.
And going right along to the product suite. So what is SOS working on? What do we do? We can start off at the top with Backup Your Cloud Life. This has been an experimental product line that we've been looking into, because more and more of your productivity is done in the cloud. But just because it's in the cloud doesn't mean it's secure. Facebook accounts are constantly, hacked into, or whatever kind of violation there is. They get corrupted, lose information. Every time there's a big global event, the Twitterverse seems to lock down and you lose your followers. And a lot of this is important to your business. Social media is a huge marketing industry today, and just about everyone has accounts like these for business. And then, of course, with the Google world, with Google Documents, and now today announced the iOS Google platform and the Chromebook, how do you back up that information? Because they certainly don't have their infrastructure set up as a backup. It's just not on your site, but it's on somebody's hardware. So how do you protect this information? And we've been experimenting with Facebook right now, and we're looking at picking that back up in the next couple of months here. And this is just another way that SOS is looking to give you an end-to-end solution and what you need to have access to.
And for those of you that are backing up SMBs, or you have SMBs as clients, this solution ties us back, or sorry, this slide rather ties us back to the comment that we made earlier about SMBs needing a complete business backup solution. So over on the right-hand side of the clock, you can see that we have system data and app data listed. This is your bare metal backup. This is included in the SOS Server Safe product, so you will be able to back up SQL servers, Exchange servers, SharePoint servers, and entire machines if you so choose. And of course, it comes with our flagship product, which is just for file and folder backup, and that product has won PC Magazine's Editor's Choice Award 4 times, I must mention.
You like to mention it?
I do like to mention it.
But why not? We won it when we were first in beta, and every year thereafter. So this gives you a nice little grid of what you're getting specifically. And when you talk to our partner specialist, you can ask for the main description, and you can also get this deck. But again, Exchange, backup, and granular recovery is a default part of every ServerSafe license we sell. So not only does that include the bare metal image capability, but the granular recovery aspect. And the granular recovery, as you'll see in the demo we'll do at the end, is quite powerful, and it's one of the more robust recovery programs when it comes to exchange that I've really ever had the pleasure of using. So it's very simple, very powerful, and we'll see all that at the end. Online Backup or Recovery Manager. So this is our application to get files offsite and to get them back on-site and to share files. You can take the bare metal image files offsite as well. We have nice continuous incrementals, which is a schedule that we have where taking bare metal images offsite is actually viable. It actually makes sense. We have I wouldn't say experimental. I think we just had our first customer recently with cloud boot, meaning you have your bare metal images in the cloud. You call us up and say, we got our servers down. We need something up right away. So we would provision and mount your machines up in our cloud and give you an IP address and access details for that so that you can have access to your servers while you're busy rebuilding the hardware on site. So that's a really nice service that we'll continue to talk more and more about through the regular contact from our product development, our business development manager, Mike Z, and also our newsletters that we send out to our partners. Workstation backup. We have this listed separately, even though it's the same application as Online Backup or Recovery, just to emphasize the need for a workstation/laptop backup strategy. This is probably one of the more uncommon backup strategies out there, but it's really one of the most important. Again, you see constant articles coming out with 60% of business data solely resides on these workstations, not in centralized locations, despite what you may think about the terminal services you have set up. Users are really good at going against what you're trying to do. And this is really the best way to protect your users at that level. And then the Premier Web Integration Package, which we talked about, this includes the basic tools that you would need to get in the market. And again, this is for our partners who were really liking the idea of the API integration but didn't have the time or the resources to do it. So we have this package for you. If you have development staff, we also have the APIs you can take and develop against that. And Gordon agrees with the workstation behaviors. Right. I mean, users are really good at being the most insecure or non-secure parts of your system. And then, of course, the mobile devices. So we have the iPhone application available. It's generically branded, published by SOS due to Apple's requirements. And then we'll be releasing a generically branded Android application in the next 3 weeks or so. And then BlackBerry, we haven't yet really started going to that. Still kind of tossing around the idea of a Chrome / Windows 8 app.
Yeah, Android app should be in a couple, 3 weeks here, Gordon.
Last stage is scheduling the backups for the Android. So that'll be the last feature we put in before we release it to our partners. So here we have another grid that's nice to go through. We won't spend too much time on it, but basically what this is showing is we used to compete with Carbonite and Mozy solely. And as far as the folder and file online backup program was concerned, we were always more secure. We always focused on what a small and medium business would need. So the small and medium business needs security, and that's really where we focus our development on in any new feature that we put out. Since adding server save, we've added strategies and backup that they simply don't. So we're no longer really competing with them. They compete with one of the services that we offer in our entire solution. And really, they're a great consumer service, even though they keep losing to us in PCMag's review. So apparently we do business and consumer better, according to PCMag. So we look at who are we looking to compete with now. And looking at this list, historically it's kind of interesting because we literally used to recommend to our partners to go to companies like Zenith and Evolve for their bare metal backup, and then to use our service to take that bare metal backup off-site. Well, now that we've introduced bare metal backup capability, we've seen a huge flood of our partners cancel out their expensive relationships with these companies that require hardware purchases and just not that robust of a service, and then come to us. Now they do everything through us. So you avoid having to, something's wrong with the backups. Which company do you call? Well, you only have one stop now for all your needs. Patrick has a comment. I thought you already had an Android. We do. It's SOS branded. So
the one that we're looking to release will have additional features including scheduling and be generically branded so that you can give it to your clients and let your clients use it without being exposed to the SOS brand.
All right. So version 5.2, we have this slide here because it's a big deal to rewrite the base code for your software program, and we've done this recently. So this spring we released version 5 of our software. We completely rewrote the backup agent and a lot of the server-side software, and it's been a huge improvement on what was already a great service. So if you look at our website and look at the speed test we have listed there, that was done with our version 4 software, and we were already faster than just about everyone else in the market. With version 5, we've actually upped that performance even more. So it's we went from being the fastest to taking another step in that direction of clearly being the fastest. So we see better recovery, better backup, better layout, just overall, one of those, product development steps of always moving forward, always getting better. And a lot of it's due to our partners. So we appreciate partners like Gordon, who's been on with us for almost a year now. And really, we take your feedback seriously. So we really appreciate everyone who lets us know what features they want to see. And if you go to our new support site that we just launched this last week with Zendesk, it's sosonlinebackup.com or .zendesk.com, and it links from our main site. We have a feature request section. Go in there, put in different stories that you want to see, what type of capability you want, and we pay close attention to all of that. So I think it would be a good time to open up our VM and do a quick demo of the services. Any questions as we get through this? Anything you want to see specifically?
And we will get into pricing later on in the presentation. Just like we said, there's no hardware purchase or upfront purchase required. And yep, Jake wants to hear about pricing. I definitely know that you do. So the great news about our pricing structure is that it's like a monthly phone bill. There is no upfront purchase required. You can purchase annually if you like to, and there are discounts and incentives for doing so. But to get started, we'll give you 5 server licenses and 1 terabyte of gigabytes, and those gigabytes can be provisioned however you like, and this starts at $3.99 per month. If you have needs like backing up to specifically the Toronto data center, for example, there is a bandwidth localization fee, which is minimal, and your partner specialist can tell you about that. But getting started is $3.99 per month to get 5 server licenses, which you can use anywhere you want. And we are offering a lot of incentives prior to June 30th because that is the end of our fiscal year. So does anybody on the line not know who their partner specialist is? This is really important. We want to make sure that you know who to talk to when you have additional questions. Derek and I are obviously here to answer them for you right now. But afterwards, we want to make sure you know who to talk to.
Yeah, and as those come in, we'll be sure to get to it. I want to make sure that everyone's seeing the screen with the SOS server state application. Give me a thumbs up if you're seeing this all right. Matthew says, I don't know my partner specialist. Well, if you call in 877-896-3611, extension 1, you'll be put into our partner specialist queue, and whoever you talk to can make sure that that they get you to the right person.
And I'll find out if you've got somebody and let them know to give you a call, Matthew.
All right, so looking at the server state application, this is what we got. So we have the logo, which is customizable by you, actually, through the partner dashboard, which we'll open up and go through a little bit after this, as well as the product name up top here, and this is the account name that we're seeing. So currently we see 4 applications in the front. And again, we have the workstation backup listed just as an emphasis on please, please, please provide your customers with a full backup solution. Not only will it help you, but it will help them. So online backup and recovery. this is our bread and butter, so these two. And it's got the same logo even, so it helps you out. Then you have Bare Metal Image Creator. This is the new addition as of November to back up your volumes with bare metal images, or as bare metal images. Then exchange granular recovery. So let's start off first with Bare Metal Image Creator. So we come here and it's already launched, and I see a backup history where it shows me an error. And just to go down and see what's going on here, I see right here, it says in clear English, there's not enough space on the disk. So my destination drive is full, real simple and easy to fix. Or I'm saying this is just a demo. So Wizards, backup. This is where you come to create a backup job and either restore as a bare metal recovery or restore as a virtual drive recovery. So this comes very simple. You get an image, you can just recover it in a couple of minutes as a virtual drive, or with a Shadow Protect Recovery boot disk, you can restore as a bare metal image. Disk map. Pretty much don't use this. Here we can see my destination drive is full, which is what that error is about. But the disk map functions are really handled in the Wizard. Backup jobs, we can see a backup job that's scheduled. We can come in and edit this or execute this. I'm just going to delete it out because I'm going to show you how to create one in a minute. Destinations, same thing as the Windows Volume Manager. You can pretty much handle this through the Wizard. And in the backup history we just saw. So we go to Wizards, you go to Backup, select Next. Now it's going to ask you, okay, which volumes would you like to create an image of? System Reserved is something that's created upon recovery, so it's not something you actually back up. So we would say for this purpose, I want to back up my Exchange volume. Hit Next. Then it's going to ask you, okay, where do you want to put this data? Well, we want to put it in a network location. And actually, if we open up our knowledge base, it makes a little more sense. And here's the article, actually. So here's our new knowledge base. We type in staging here. And this is a big differentiator with our service. We don't require that you purchase hardware from us, but we do recommend for a full backup solution to utilize some sort of hardware that you can select, and it's got to run Windows, and use this as a staging machine for your image backups. So we're going to install an image creator on your various servers. We're going to schedule the backup job to sit on this staging machine. The staging machine serves a couple of purposes. One, it's a local backup. Two, it's also a local recovery point. You know, maybe load this thing up with a couple terabytes of drive space, 8, 10, 12 gigs of RAM. And if you need to, you can actually mount your images, or you can mount the images on a VM here in your staging machine. That way you don't have to go out and buy new hardware. You already have something available, at least immediately. As far as getting data off-site, go from the staging machine off-site with the images, and that'll help protect your production resources. Again, our system has a lot of protection it does at the local side. So the encryption and compression are nonlinear algorithms, and it's going to take some system resources to run through that backup as well as the upload speed. And you can protect these production resources by running the backups from the staging machine instead, especially with those larger image files. For your workstations, just install the online backup directly on them. Or even for a file server, you can install the online backup software directly on this and go off-site directly. So that's a choice you can make. But certainly, you don't need to centralize file and folder backup sets from workstations. Mobile applications, again, we have mobile applications you can back up directly, but also a great restore point. So let me minimize that. So network location, that's where you set that up. But I'm just going to select the app drive for now. I don't have a network location to do this. And Gordon confirms a staging service solution is quite reasonable price-wise for most companies. Absolutely. And really, it's just a matter of how you can present your backup solution and your business continuity services, which is something that both Mike Z and myself help our partners out with regular webinars, specifically discussing how do you put authority behind and importance behind what you know is important. Because one thing that is beautiful about the managed service market is not arguing expertise. You simply have a package of services, this is what you get, and that's what gets put in place. And you don't have to a la carte argue about a backup strategy that you know is important with a customer who's hiring you because they don't know what's important. So here we have scheduling options. You can do it now, you can do it later, you can do it weekly, which is a historical way of doing image-based backups. The reason that this is historical is because you traditionally had to work with limited tape drive space when you're doing this. Also, recovering data was very tough because you had to, in sequential order, recover first your full backup, then each incremental until you got to the point at which you want it to be. With our system, you don't need to do that. You just have the incremental right there. You can either quick mount it as a virtual drive or mount it through a recovery environment, and it'll do an incremental or an intelligent file chain recovery, meaning you can have 1,000 incremental files or 5, and it doesn't change your steps in recovery one bit. It's all just as simple. So now we do what's called a continuous incremental, which means we run a full backup the first time it runs, and then each backup thereafter and indefinitely is going to be just an incremental. This is a really nice way of going about this. Some of you may think, well, what about, what if you have some corruption? Well, there's an intelligent file verification that goes through each incremental backup process. So the system first is going to look and say, okay, what does the last incremental look like? If it's corrupted, it'll go back to the previous incremental, and then it'll run the incremental from that point. So if you have an incremental backup that is bad, which can happen, then it's going to fix itself. You have to do nothing about it. So it's a very nice system in the way that it does verification testing for you, but also it makes test recoveries, which is a terrific managed service to offer your customers. Hey, I'll even test your backups. Like 60% of tape recoveries failed between 2003 and 2007 or 2008. I forget when the study came out, but it showed a significant failure rate for recoveries because people weren't managing them correctly. They weren't verifying. There was no self-heal. So if the backup gave you a green light if it finished, not if it finished and was good. So continuous incremental is terrific. And this uses VSS, so volume shadow service. It's important that you don't have any other VSS-enabled applications running. VSS is important because the question comes about, well, can we back up our SQL database while it's open? Well, VSS, absolutely, and lets us do that. VSS allows the program to negotiate with these databases that are running and say, hey, database, you got anything going on? And the database says, yeah, there was a sale between Gordon and Matthew. Gordon bought a MiG fighter for $1 million from Matthew. So we got to take $1 million out of Gordon's account and put it into Matt's. Terrific. So it's going to finish that transaction and then let us take a snapshot of the database. All right, please, Matt says. Just make sure that MiG fighter gets in the air, right? $1 million in Canadian, sure. So without VSS and without that negotiation, that's when you get into the issue with why open file backups of databases is a bad idea, because it could take a snapshot right in the middle of that transaction, and then you lose the record of it. Records are stored in pairs, so you wouldn't get a buff. And this all happens in milliseconds. And let's say you have an old database that doesn't have VSS writer enabled. We have options here in our Advanced tab where you can go to Commands, and you can write a little batch script file that pre-snapshot will stop this database. Post-snapshot will restart the database, or whatever it is. Usually it's some old accounting database that's being used and should probably be replaced, but they're out there. Again, those databases are supported by VSS. And again, here we have enabled self-healing with incremental recovery, so it's by default enabled. Okay. For those of you who require HIPAA compliance, we have an encryption option here because you do have to encrypt your data at 128-bit AES locally for your local backups. So there you go. For the online file and folder system, we do already encrypt the data at 256-bit AES before transfer over 128-bit SSL. So we cover you, we've always covered you at that range, but this is for the local backup. We have this option to split images up, because if you're going off-site with images, it's a good idea to split them up in smaller chunks. And again, it doesn't matter how many files you have when it comes to recovery with this program. There's no difference in your recovery steps. So having multiple chunks doesn't really matter, but it's going to make your online backup and online recovery procedures a lot faster. So we recommend doing a 10 gig file split. We get next, we get a summary, and boom, we have a image-based backup schedule started. So let's say we've been running this for a while, and we want to take it off-site. Well, we open up our online backup and recovery agent. We log in. And you'll see some branding here at the top. Right now, the branding is only supported by the image and the product name once users sign in. And the banner is something that we'll be adding later on. So the backup set has a couple of advanced options if you want. You can change where the overhead is going to be stored. So the cache and the temp folders, you can put those drives that have enough space. And we recommend something, I recommend personally, a one-to-one free space for the cache and the temp to the size of your backup set. But it depends on what you're backing up, as we do have caching options wherein we do not cache certain file types. So for example, the .spf files that we're creating for the images, we don't do that, so that's fine. Gordon asks, would a virtual drive work for the cache? Absolutely. As long as you have read-write permissions. So you want to make sure you're doing that. But let's create a backup real quickly. So set up online backup. We open this up, and first comes our scanner. So this is terrific for your workstations. So you just say scan all folders, and this is for your workstations. It's just going to scan everything and find out where the common documents are. Here are the file types there. Images, music, video, and you can check or uncheck that, whatever you want to do. There's also a custom scan section down here, so you can include or exclude certain folders and files. And in late August, we actually have planned a remote control over this setting. So you'll actually be able to push out scanner settings from the partner dashboard. So stay tuned for that. That would be really terrific. Or we're going to say don't scan. I'm just going to select it through the Windows tree view. Regardless of which you select, scan or do not scan, you're going to end up in this Windows tree view next for further compatibility with or for further configuration of your backup set. So you can select on the specific folder or file or directory, and it'll show you the files that are on the root of that folder. Or you can expand this to see the bigger Windows tree view. Yeah, Gordon says, most employers don't want iTunes on a backup. Exactly. It costs you money, and it costs you time, you know. So here we have selected our, essentially this is our network location, right? This would be our staging machine. The F drive is my staging machine for now. So I have all these files selected for backup. The square means that something in this directory is selected for backup, but the entire directory is not. A check mark means anything added to this directory is going to be protected on the next scheduled backup. Then we have our scheduling options. So we have backup at the end of this wizard. So we can do that. I'm not going to do that for right now. Backup automatically without user intervention. That just means on a schedule. For your workstations, I recommend doing a hourly schedule, maybe every couple of hours. You know, it depends. And also, if you're doing an hourly schedule, if you have emails going to the customer, make sure they have email rules where they have a folder collecting the email reports, because it does become quite irritating to get an email every hour if you're running a backup that frequently, when you're probably not changing that much locally. You know, again, a lot of work is done in the cloud. Backup even when Windows user is not logged on. For those Windows domain environments, this is a must-have. So you go in here and you put in your Windows domain credentials. Again, our whole system is based on read-write permissions of the Windows user you're logged in as. So this is just to give you that access. Unlike a lot of services, we don't limit you to where you can pull data from. As long as your Windows user can do it, the backup program can do it, and that's how we authenticate. So typically with your server backups, your images, you're going to do it nightly. So say we'll start at 10 p.m. and then have an email report going out. And email reports are great. Email reports are going to tell you what happened on the backup. It's also going to tell you a list of what files maybe didn't back up and gives you a report on that. And it gives you actually a list of the files and a reason why, so you can go in and fix it. And we also have monitoring settings you can look into now. So I'm backing up on a regular basis. Let's open up our partner dashboard real quickly to see some of the monitoring tools you can use while the backups are running. Let me go back out to the main view here. Open up our dashboard. And this is actually brand new. Again, we've been rewriting all of these items as we release the new code base for our software. So we have a central management section, which right now gives us a list of all these events that are happening. Now we do trials through this. So when after 14 days, the trials go away, so I can, come in and remove the events if I need to. But you can see information, like here we have a backup uploading. So we say, okay, well, what's the status of this? And we say, okay, it's been running for 4 hours, and it's backed up 13 or almost 14 gigs. So this is a real speedy environment we have here. Total files processed, 20 gigs, so that's the size of the backup set, and 6 gigs has already been backed up prior to this event going. So you have some good information there. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Over the next 3 to 4 weeks, not only is this dashboard going to look completely different, but it's going to give you a lot more information. So we have all this. We have back statuses as far as backups not running in the last week, backup hasn't run in a couple days. So you're really outfitted with the immediate needs. Show me what I have to pay attention to right now. And that's the point of monitoring. And what we're adding is reporting so that you can send out nice reports as far as activity summaries for your customers. So you can say, hey, this is what the backup's been doing for you, on top of what you as a managed service provider have been doing. And then we're also adding in, again, the management that we talked about. So over the next 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 weeks, you're going to see a dramatic feature-rich dashboard here that already does a lot for you. And we have an updates and news feed here for you as well. So when we release those updates, you can know about it. You can subscribe to this as an RSS feed or by email, or you can just see it when you come in. So the most recent one was just yesterday or the day before, and we released an updated server state installation and user guide. That's a really nice setting. And also go into the web package. So if we go to the web package, again, this was based on the need for a lot of our customers that were new businesses, new managed services, and they need, getting a new service in place is easy. But then setting up your business to deliver, getting some web content for it, how you accept money for it, that usually takes some work that a lot of people don't have the time or resources to really get done quickly or in a good way. So again, we built this out with the idea that let's help our partners get to market, because the partner program is our main focus. So if you go to partnername.onlinebackupcheckout.com, this is what you'll be getting, except partner name would be your name here. And it comes with all of this default content and all these pages. So it's you get 10 pages by default. So you get descriptions of services and suggestions, all this information. A sign-up page. So if you get a sign-up, you can start collecting money through it. Security overview. So it really is, again, a business in a box. So you may say, well, what about changing all that stuff? How do we change it? Well, we give you all the tools to do that. So we've integrated in with a system called CK Editor. So if you go to, so if we log into the back here, not only do we have the ability to manage the content of the site by this content section here, view pages, and then we hit view here, And we have a nice visual editor. You can set some of your SEO metadata options, titles, search items, description. And here's our visual editor for the site. So here's how you manage the content. And then just recently, we've added this CSS editor. So those of you with web design resources or web design experience yourself, you can come in here and you can change the colors, you can flip around the arrangement, and really as creative as you want to be in this CSS editor. So we've taken big strides in increasing the flexibility and access for the web design portion. We originally thought that was going to be kind of a nice to have, but people really liked the idea of having kind of a business in a box type of thing. Gordon says, "Thank you for the CSS editor." Yeah, this is brand new, so that's how it is. Again, if you want to have a top-level domain, so if you want your own domain on here, you can do that. It's an extra cost. You register the domain, and then you point the domain to our DNS, and then we'll order the SSL instead of the hosting, and we'll install the package on there. So you won't have the online backup checkout domain used. So it'll be something just top level. So if you're interested in that, talk to your partner specialist. But again, here you go. Also down the list, we have gateways. Gordon says domain option is highly recommended. Yeah, definitely. It's great, especially if you're doing SEO, but it depends on your current website status. If you don't really have one, I would say do it. But if you do have one, you could always just link to the sign up and the login pages for this, where they'd be on a subdomain, and then you can just do whatever you want on your own web pages, because you still don't have cPanel access to really get deep into everything. You don't have FTP access. So some of you who have more advanced web design projects already in line, or more advanced web design expertise, you may want to look at that, or even just taking our APIs and building out your own thing. So by default, we have Authorize.net, PayPal Pro, PayPal Standard, which we don't recommend unless it's your only option because of some limitations PayPal Standard has when it comes to recurring billing. And if you want more information about that, you can ask your partner specialist. But basically, you can't upgrade more than a recurring billing account more than 20%. So you have to manually delete an old account and do a new one. eWay for our Australian partners. We have a mailer that you can use to do campaign or subscription emails to your customers. So you can put your settings here. Then you have statistics. So just a cool tool that we thought partners would like. Default support ticketing system. Again, coupon codes. So if you want to do leave behinds in each business for individual users to come and sign up for a discount, you can do that. You can discount percentage, fixed dollar amount, or whatever currency it is, and you can limit that by time frame or by number of uses. So this says, okay, for the end of the month, the first 20 users that use this code will get a 50% discount. That's it. And then, of course, the integration with the SOS system with the backup users tab. So you can view actions, you can come in here, you can change the email, reset the password, view account details, all this good stuff. So that's the dashboard and the web integration package. And let's get back to the demo. And again, call up your partner specialist after this, and not only are they going to help you understand the program with a lot more detail, but they're going to make sure that this is a program you're going to make money in. Of course, that's what we're here, right? We're here to make some money. So they're going to make sure that the level of program that you will enter will be appropriate based on your current client base, any campaigns, and some lowball adoption rate, depending on how you're going to push this out to your customers, so it's appropriate. So let's go to Restore. We go to Restore. We online restore, and this is through the wizard. Thank you, Michael. Michael's got to run. He'll be following up. Yeah, we'll certainly have someone give you a ring so you can get more information and see what we have to offer. And again, as Shaylin had mentioned, Shaylin had to run, we are doing a big push at the end of this fiscal, and we do have some pricing changes that I'm not even really that privy to when it comes to the end. So it'd be a good thing to check in right now to see what options you have. So recovery, we have this calendar view. and we can go back by years. Again, we have unlimited version history and no additional cost to our customers. So it's something that we just don't charge you for. So you have as many versions as you want of the same file, and it doesn't cost more against your subscribed backup space. It's the same cost. If you have 300 versions of your PFT file, you don't need a couple terabytes of space for that access. You just need whatever the largest version that is. That's how much it's going to be counted. So we don't automatically purge data from your system ever. We will be introducing retention policies for the cloud backups in the future for image-based backups, but for files, is what it is. So here we refreshed and we see on the left all the machines that we have available. If I go back and I say, okay, well, I do kind of want to go back to, let's say, February 9th, what did my backup set look like then? And it refreshes a lot less. So you see how quickly you can change what you're looking at. For the most part, file and folder you just do the most recent, and then you can use the versioning drop-down to see what you want to get. So for the F drive, we can, let's say we want to recover a bunch of images. So we go through here, we have backup job 13, all these incrementals. So we would check all these off and recover. So let's say we recovered. I'm going to cancel this out. And now we have the images available locally. So I order, I'm going to open up just Windows Explorer, go to my backup drive, and say we got backup job 3, incremental 4. So I can do a quick mount. And it's going to quick mount as a virtual drive this specific incremental. There we saw Exchange Drive N was just created. And then it's launched me into it. So here's all the Exchange data based on that incremental file and all previous incrementals in the previous full backup. So it was intelligent, fast, easy to do. Let's say I actually want to go to the software to see what it's doing. Well, I go to Wizard, I go to Explore Backup, hit Next. You browse for your backup set. Let's say we pick up backup job 10. It'll give us information about this backup job. Then it's going to say, hey, we recognize a lot of incrementals with this backup job. There's 55 of them. Okay, I want to recover to the most recent time. So I hit Next. Okay, what drive letter do you want to do? Drive letter O. Sure thing. I hit Next. Here's the file chain it's going to recover for us. I hit Finish. Now it's recovering. And in a couple of seconds, it's going to launch me into the new virtual drive. There we go. So now we have this Exchange recovery. What can we do with it now? Well, let's open up EGR, Exchange Granular Recovery, and see about that. So we open up the source file. And let's go back to my computer, go to Exchange Drive O, open this up, Exchange, Mailbox, EDB, automatically selects the transaction log destination. We say OK. And it's going to load up what we have by default. Then we have to select, OK, well, where do we want to restore data to? We say, OK, let's connect all the mailboxes. This is going to authenticate again on the Windows user. So this Windows user has to be an admin on the target Exchange server that I'm trying to connect to. So I'll pull that up and say, okay, user 1 comes to you and says, oh, you know, there was this email I had, and you can see all the granular items we have here, and it had an attachment about management, and I really need it yesterday. Can you get it for me? So we say, okay, let's see what we can do. So I'm going to search through his mailbox and see, okay, let's see if we can find that. And then we open this up, really quick, fast preview. I look at this attachment, management guide. Is this the one, Mr. User 1? He says, yes, it is. And I say, awesome. So I'm going to take this and expand the target and just drag and drop this into his inbox. And done. Recovered. Let's say I wanted to see, you know, who else has seen this management guide. So I'm going to go browse, and I'm going to select the source or the entire database and hit OK and hit Find, and it gives me a list. Or let's say, you know, I want to cancel this out, and I want to search on my target. I want to see, you know, who got this guide. You know, that really shouldn't have gone out to anyone. You know, management, find now, and I just selected everyone. So I just go here, shift select, there we go, right click, delete, and I've now deleted that mail from everyone. Really powerful, very simple. I mean, the preview function alone is, it seems like, why isn't this present in other services? You know, Backup Exec, you can't preview items that quickly or that easily, or at all, rather. User 1, we can drag and drop it and recover user 1. I can even take the whole EDB and drop it on this new piece of hardware, and it's going to move the entire database to this new piece of hardware. So it's, you know, it's really a nice system that you can have here. Very simple, very intuitive. I don't think I've ever used a Exchange recovery tool that is that simple and intuitive. And with that, I'll open up to questions. Sorry, we had to run through the demo at the end there pretty quickly. Coming back, again, the competitive landscape. SOS, you used to just kind of live in the file and folder, and with the addition of Server Save and our mobile applications, this is where we live. And as you can see in our grid, we are the only one who truly gives you the end-to-end solution when it comes to what you need in an entire backup solution, not just a single strategy, and all at a fraction of the price that the competitors are offering it for. So, you know, we suggest, you know, Server Save 5, it's $3.99 a month to get started. You'll be delivered and fully set up in a couple of days. It gives you access to a terabyte of cloud space for backups, and you can create as many accounts as you like. Accounts are not limited per machine either, so you can, you know, if you have one backup account, you can install that on as many machines as you like. As we saw in the recovery view, I had about 15 machines on that one. The Server Save licensing is per seat, so you do need a server license for every machine that you're going to be doing the image backup from. But you know, at that rate, you can charge, you know, if you split it evenly, 200 gigs and one license, costs you about $80 a month. So just retail price just for that package, just for the software, is $130. Plus, you have your managed service package, your managed services charge on top of that. So you can really start to see that as you grow your business, you move into server 10, 15, your margin can really look pretty good. We have some more information about the demo environments, but really now's the time to call our partner specialists. So they're going to go through a very detailed ROI, which for the most part, you know, you'd have to go through that yourself. You know, to crunch all the numbers, sit down over the weekend, you know, spend your time as a little bean counter. Well, our partner specialists are going to do this with you. They're going to make sure that everything's very clear as far as how much you're spending, how much your customers are spending, what they need, what you can provide, and really identify a good starting point for you in our program, if the program's you know, appropriate for you at all. You know, again, we're very particular about getting our partners qualified and into the program at the right level, because it doesn't make any sense to, you know, get a partner that's not going to do well. You know, we'll work with you in different ways. So we're very flexible, anywhere from retail shops with you know, all break-fix services at this point and looking to move into managed services, shops making the big move into managed services, people doing value adds. So we even have some accounting firms that offer backup accounts with becoming their customer, and it serves them better because they use the backup to protect the financial data that they prepare with the client. So, you know, we really see partners of all shapes and sizes come through, and we do a great job at satisfying all of it. We're very flexible. Gordon asked me to be providing a copy of this PowerPoint presentation. Absolutely. It's available on the website and also in the Partner Resource Center. And in our webinar page on sosonlinebackup.com, we actually post the recording of all of our webinars so that you can view them later on. If you need to present this to some of your business partners, well, whoever it is, or just refer to it later, you can do that. So before we close up, any final questions on the service, the pricing, you know, why you want to do this? Again, It's the difference of going somewhere for a single strategy versus being able to provide a full backup solution in your managed services package. It's just, we do what we can to make it very easy and secure in what you can do for your customers. All right, again, 877-896-3611. Again, thank you for all your time today. My name is Derek Wood, and again, the Partner Product Manager here at SOS. If you come on board, I'll look forward to speaking with you. Thanks, and have a good one.